Good morning. So good to be talking to you this morning. Today I want to talk about, in my daily nugget, I want to talk about life. You decide. Um, One thing that we must recognize is that life is full of challenges. And it has ups and downs. And it's a pretty exciting journey, but we have to recognize there are challenges. But if we approach life, we have to think about how we approach life. And one of the things that we have to consider is whether we want to approach life like a game, which means there is rules that are set and clearly defined of how we ought to play the game. Or we can approach life as a journey with multiple experiences taking us from destination to destination. We could also consider life, just as a movie in which we are an actor in it, and the script has already been written, and all we are doing is merely playing along with the script that is there. But regardless of which dimension you come at life, there is no actual right and wrong. And actually, the big question that we have in this is, can there be a combination of life being a game, a journey, or you just being an actor in life? Maybe it can be, but what comes to mind is life is actually personal. If you are a person who's been born into a family with wealth, you could consider yourself just as an actor because you've been endowed with so many blessings and so many things that is just given to you. But I'm not sure that if you are born into a family where there's insufficiencies, whether you would consider it the same way, and hence it's personal how you decide on what life is about. But it doesn't matter, depending on which approach you take with life, it will determine your final outcome. And in all of this, I want to make sure that you understand that it's regardless of whether you choose life to be a game, whether you choose life to be a journey, whether you choose life to act like a movie, like your life is set out and life just happens, it doesn't matter. You have been provided with this unique ability to make decisions. And that has been endowed upon you to make decisions. Therefore, today, I want to encourage you to make decisions. Make the decision to live your life and to enjoy your life. Except you make that decision, accept your decisions, you're always going to feel like you're a victim of circumstances. But use the power of your decision and make the decision. Stop abdicating your decision. Make decisions. Our fresh daily manna comes from the book of Hebrews chapter 1 verses 12 to 15. And it's quite fascinating that James again talks about, he touches on temptation, but he actually gives us 3 dimensions here, or maybe just 2 dimensions. He gives us the dimension that 1, temptation, where does it originate from? 2, what happens when we fail during temptation, and what happens when we overcome temptation. And what he basically says is temptation doesn't come from our Creator, from God. He says basically temptation is self-inflicted. It comes by our own desires, it comes by our own lust, where we are pulled away from the truth. That's where temptation comes from. That means the things we are seeing when we entice ourselves and we embrace it and we keep on pondering about that, that's where temptation comes from. And he kind of uses the word in such a nice way. He says, when temptation or when these desires has been conceived, and I like this word conceived because it gives you the impression of a pregnancy, temptation is like the seed, and then once the seed is received, we become impregnated, and when we become impregnated, we become impregnated with sin. And when sin then has its final outcome after the pregnancy, it produces death. But in the same breath, if we allow ourselves to overcome temptation, we don't get impregnated with temptation, we overcome temptation. Then he says what happens here is that we would receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those that love him. So both if temptation, you accept it, it will produce death. But if you overcome it, you will receive the crown of life. And actually, the crown of life is only spoken about twice in the Bible. It's spoken about here in James, and it's spoken about in Revelations chapter 2 verses 10. And actually it says the crown of life is preserved for those who overcome trials and tribulation, when the enemy throws them into prison and they'll be killed for believing in God. That's the crown of life. So if there be anything that would encourage us to overcome these trials and these tribulations and these temptations, then it must be the crown of life. And that crown of life will be forever. So God bless you. I trust that you've been blessed. My call to action for you today is consider this is your life. And I really want us to consider that this is a life, it's yours. It's yours to be lived. And it's one life. Then decide, regardless, whether it's wrong, right, you make the decision and then stand by it. Then live by the decisions you've made. I trust you are encouraged by watching this video. It's a short clip. If you really like it and it's really motivated you, it stirred something in your mind, you like it, give us a thumbs up. If you really love it, give us a nice red heart. Then also, check out our YouTube channel where we daily publish these type of videos. Check it out for regular updates. And then you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter. Also check out our Facebook page, which I'm hoping this is where you are seeing us. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I hope to speak to you tomorrow again.